All right, ladies and gentlemen, traders, welcome back to another Relentless recap. In this one, we're going to be talking about how I got cooked today in the stock market for 2K. The loss today a little bit bigger than I would have liked, but there was a lot of things that we did well along the way. We'll talk about some of the things we can improve on throughout the video, but for the most part, it was a pretty decent day. Just a little choppy with the momentum earlier, right? And also a bit of a Tesla trade. I'll start with that one. I had a trade on Tesla here. Let's go to positions. I had a trade on Tesla, which was pretty close. Pretty close trade. You know, right down here in this bottom. I'm watching at this thing and I'm like, you know what, man? It seems like we're getting ready for the reversal. And so I got long and I gave myself $1 share stop towards the low. And kid you guys not, the moment I got in, and I got in a little higher off the lows. At the time we had this green candle here close, and I jumped in right around this area here. The moment I jumped in, the stock was, the moment I bought, I mean, if I had waited 4 more seconds, I would have nailed this bottom tick trade. I mean, it's insane. The moment I buy looking for this to continue with $1 share stop towards the low, it flushes down. I mean, look at how laggy it is here, right? What's going on with Thinkorswim? It flushes down. I stop out at the very bottom of this candle here, essentially, only to watch the stock then rip back up. And this trade, I would have held for at least $3 a share. You know, I'm risking $1 a share. You know, I'm thinking to get the reversal low of day, to give it a chance. I doubt I'd be holding till 250, but up here into this range, 245, I would have been all on it. Or maybe the first red candle that came down, back down, maybe 244.90 area, would have been a great trade. You know, about $4 a share. You know, it could have been a good 1K on this trade here. I think it was worth a shot. And shout out to Jessica, right? Shout out to Jessica. Some of you guys will remember Jessica from the chat. This is the type of style of trade that she would go for. So I did learn a thing or two from her, but I came so close. So yeah, red 300 there on Tesla. All right, let's get this off the screen now. Move on to the actual day trades. I mean, it's so laggy here. I mean, just look at how this thing is moving. Coming into KTTA. KTTA next stock. So I had trouble after this breakout here. So initially we had resistance right over 207. And I told myself, hey, wait patiently. Don't size up just yet. Give stocks a chance to break above key levels before getting aggressive. And so inside of the consolidations, you know, I'm not probably as on the offensive as I needed to be, but nevertheless, you know, I don't want to overtrade the range with too much size and we're just, you know, sideways and down, right? I rather trade the uptrending momentum. So the moment the stock breaks out right here and gives the first pullback, I'm in aggressively right here. I believe 6,000 shares, only to then see the stock crash down right into my face very quickly, minus 600. I believe we were red $100 coming into the move up. Red 600 on this move down. Total down 700. Very brutal here. Very brutal. Again, hey, I don't want to get too aggressive right away. Giving it a chance to rip over highs, have a candle close above the high of day, that is, right? We even got up to the pre-market highs and then just look at the washout. So when I got aggressive, this is essentially what was happening. I didn't stand a chance here. Didn't stand a chance. So that was KTTA. And then we also have PRFX. I saw some of the guys in the chat room do really well on this stock. And you know, if I had to guess, they were being very aggressive towards the bottoming candles, the bottoming wicks. I had a hard time with this one, man. Again, I prefer the uptrending momentum. And so a lot of this sideways stuff I try to stay away from. Try to stay away. But we can see that a lot of the times the stock came down, it gave a move back up. Right here, down, move back up, right here, down, bounced up, again, right here. And I think for me in the moment, I got to do a better job recognizing this, but it's a bit of a conflict of interest because again, I'm like, hey, just, take it easy, wait for this thing to break out. Once we start to hold above key levels, then press on this fight. And so, that's exactly what I'm going to do here. Kind of show you guys a daily chart here a little bit as well. That's exactly what I'm going to try to do right over here. And I'm going to get murdered. PRFX, similar to the other stock, right? Right here, we're looking good. We're looking for that bull flag to hold up and then have the next green candle come in, make a new high, boom, boom, boom. Instead, I'm trading the consolidation here, thinking, hey, we broke out over previous lows. We're going to hold up and go. So I'm aggressive here with size. Boom, flushes right back down. And then fooled me once. Shame on you. Fooled me twice. What did J. Cole say in that song? For those of you guys who know the lyrics. I mean, I almost went mad here because, okay, you stopped me out, but now you're back up to prove yourself that you're strong. And what do? I get caught again. I got caught again. Today was definitely a day for just, the bottoming entries, the bottoming wicks. Again, look at how many bottoming wicks we're seeing. And so it's easy to see why on a day like today, I lost, on these stocks, right? So down 145 on this one, just brutal. And then we had AREB, which I think was the most disappointing one out of all of them for me because it was strong and I just couldn't get a good grip. Now, early, I did ignore it because I thought, hey, this is just short sellers covering from the previous move that we just had. If we're to zoom out here in the 5-minute, you guys will see that, we had our big move going back to the 4th. The 4th of what? Last Friday. We had our big move, but since then it's just been, kind of downtrend. So I thought, hey, short sellers covered some of their positions. This thing is just going to give a halt up or two and then just, Christmas tree back down. I'm not really, because we've seen that so many times. I'm not really interested in looking at this one. But then the chat room members were saying, hey, there's news. And so I'm like, okay, let's check it out. And it's crazy. Like I had a rhythm. I had a good rhythm, but my execution was the problem, right? The stock kind of felt like a hot potato, almost like a slippery ball. You can see it coming. You try to get that catch, but then you fumbled it. You fumbled it, right? For those of you who watch football, so it was that kind of thing. Like for the most part, I'm not sure how the first 2-3 halt resumptions were going up, but I came around 9:53, 9:55 area, ample time to get myself going. And again, just a little slippery for me. So, areas like this where the 1-minute candle made the new high, 95 breaking out of 1050, not a bad area at all. And then we get this bit of a flat top breakout right here, right? So it turns out to be one huge flag, right? A big wedge, if you want to say. Let's get rid of this one. This turned out to be a huge wedge and a bit of a flat top breakout over 10. And it took off 1070. I believe we might have had a hidden seller here or a bigger seller. Yeah, okay. We had, so, areas like this, man, just a little tough for me. We had a lot of sellers initially around 1010, 1015, and then we had 140,000 share seller at $10 itself. And so the order was coming down and I saw it, but I'm thinking, okay, because we also had resistance over 10, we more than likely are not going to go right away. So I didn't buy as the order was coming down, and that was a big mistake right here. This is one of the areas where I could have had a really nice big trade. Didn't opt to jump in, and I went all the way up to 1071 in like one instance. So I missed out on a big move there, and then I fumble the baby pullback. I bought this, and I bought it high at 40. It dropped all the way to 22. So in the moment of me buying it, it's still dropping. Like, nope, it's gonna go right back down to 10, maybe even below, and false breakout. like this red candle here, that's exactly what happened on this candle, right? So I stopped out, and then immediately, boom, it jumps up without me, and just, again, just this stock, man, slippery son of a gun. So it then pulls back, and we halt down. I believe we halted down, and I was telling myself, hey, I believe we can curl back up, but I didn't follow my intuition, and I wasn't as aggressive just buying the resumption. I knew I needed to buy this resumption aggressively. It opened up lower, I didn't, and I missed out my early entry to hold a little longer going up. And so again, in a good rhythm, just kind of fumbled the trade, fumbled the stock. We then had the 1 minute candle make the new high over 1130 here, which pushed up to 1180, and then that was pretty much it. All in all, decent day. Just a little tough to end red on this one. I think the other one okay, because we didn't really have the uptrend. But this one was this type of stock where we could have made a couple $1,000s. So just a little disappointed to have went from down about 1100 to then 1700. And then we had that Tesla trade towards the end of the day. Even the Tesla trade was a really good opportunity. I think maybe if I had a wider stop on that trade, I could have done better, or maybe just being a little bit more patient for the retest of the lows perhaps, but it's all good in the neighborhood. Red day recap, but a successful red day. We followed our rules, we were disciplined. Tomorrow we're going to look to keep things tighter if we happen to have a similar day, but hopefully we see some hotter action with some uptrending stocks. So with that being said, hit that thumbs up, and remember to check out those links down below, right? Or check out the links down below if you want to get involved with the chat room, if you want to get involved with the classes. Those links are available. And remember our disclaimer, right? I didn't mention it at the beginning, so I'll mention it at the end. Day trading is risky. My results are not the typical results that you'll usually see. Keep in mind that copy trading never works here on the live streams. Never works. It's all about learning the strategy for yourself. And lastly, I do not invest for my subscribers, so be careful of fake Relentless trader accounts. I will never message you first. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe. Tomorrow again, bright and early for another beautiful day. See you guys there.